everyone. So, in this lecture I am going to discuss about the anatomy of GI tract, which is under the subject of human anatomy and physiology. In this we will discuss about the digestive system. Yes. So, let us start with the some of the terms and definitions here. Gastrointestinal tract, what do you mean by GIT? So, it is the organ system, yes, in humans and other animals that take in what it is doing, that take in food, yes, digest it. Firstly, there will be ingestion of food in the GIT tract, gastrointestinal tract. So, take off food, then digest it, then absorb the nutrients and expel it. Then to of course, we have absorbed, so whatever the content it need, which is without of the nutrients or the waste product, it need to be expelled out. Yes. So, there will be the expulsion of it in the form of fecus. Yes. So, it is through the digestive system, which is comprising of the alimentary canal, yes, and accessories organs. Now, what is under the alimentary canal? So, there will be mouth, then esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, like these of the parts under the alimentary canal. And we will see the accessory organs, means which are useful for the digestion, their secretions are useful in the digestion. Yes. So, there are some of the organs like salivary glands, then liver, pancreas. This is the accessory organs, they are helping in the digestion. Yes. So, these all will include the digestive system, they are making the digestive system, and with this digestive system we are preparing the food, whatever it is eaten in the diet, for the absorption and removing the waste content from the body. Now, I will see the whole of the anatomy of the GI tract. So, what are the parts under this? So, listen this very carefully, it starts from the mouth, yes. Then there is a pharynx. Whenever we will take the food, that food break up, that food particles, that the food content will break up into food particles, and it is assisting in producing the spoken language, that mouth is used. So, we are talking here is a formation of complex to the simpler substances. Yes. So, this is mouth is doing with the help of salivary amylase or the secretions of the salivary glands. Now, this content, it will go into the pharynx area. So, that is for the swallowing, and then there is another area that is called the esophagus. Yes, this system we can see, this is the esophagus, this connection. Here there is a transportation, this is for the transportation of the food. What we left here is the salivary glands. I told you already in the mouth, these salivary glands are present, and these salivary glands will produce the secretions. So, there will be saliva, and in the saliva salivary amylase and many other components are present that will moisten and lubricating the food. And here one amylase enzyme which is present in the saliva, that amylase is required for the conversion of the complex polysaccharides into simpler form. Yes. So, now we are here in the esophagus and the food is here, whatever the food we have taken, this is already we are in the esophagus part. Now, from where, from this side it will go in the stomach. Yes. So, here we are seeing stomach. What happens in the stomach? There is a HCl, hydrochloric acid. Yes. So, in stomach it stores and churns food, okay. It will digest those of the food, and which is present and which is coming in the esophagus area. There is a pepsin which is present in the stomach, that pepsin is required for the digestion of the protein. Then HCl is present in the stomach, that HCl will activate the enzymes. Which enzyme? Pepsinogen. Yes, that pepsinogen is activated in the presence of HCl to pepsin, and that pepsin is required for the metabolism of the proteins. So, this is one of the action here. Then it is breaking up of food, okay, making it more simpler. Then also killing the germs, as the acid is present, of course, the germs which are coming from this side, that can be killed with the help of the HCl, this acid. Yes. Then there is also mucus formation is there. So mucus is forming in the stomach to provide the protection from the harmful effect of the acid. Yes. So mucus protection is also there in the stomach area. Mucus protect the stomach wall, and there is a limited absorption is there in this site. Majority of the absorption is occurring in the small intestine area. Yes. Very less is going in the stomach or in the large intestine. Otherwise majority will go in the majority of the nutrients or the absorption is going from the small intestine area. So this is why we have written limited absorption. Similarly, we will see this side there is a liver. This is the accessory organs. Yes. So liver is producing bile. Yes, and that bile is stored in the gallbladder. This is we are seeing gallbladder. Yes. So here bile is stored, and this bile is essential. It is coming in the duodenum area. This bile is essential for the metabolism of the fatty substances, for the emulsification of fatty substances. Yes, cholesterol like this. So this is we have covered. Then there is one organ, pancreas. This is also accessories organ. So pancreas is forming the pancreatic juices. Pancreas is also divided into two, means the gland is basically working as a two type gland, means one is the exocrine part and another is the endocrine. Yes. So endocrine is producing insulin, glucagon. These are the hormones the endocrine gland is producing. Similarly, for the exocrine, pancreatic juices are produced, and these are beneficial for the digestion of the food. Yes. So this pancreas here we are seeing in the blue structure. This is also producing the pancreatic juices which is coming out in the duodenum area. So these all of the juices, means the bile, the pancreatic juices, they all are coming in the duodenum area and in the small, from where the small intestine is started, and there the food is that is metabolized properly. Yes. Similarly, we will see the small intestine area, this purple color structure, this is the small intestine area whole. So in the small intestine, complete absorption. I told you why, because all of the juices we can see, the bile juice, pancreatic juices, they all are coming here. Then mucus is also present here to protect the gut wall. Nutrients are absorbed here, most water. Peptidase enzyme will digest the protein, sucrases enzyme will digest the sugar, amylase will digest the polysaccharides. So this is all going in the small intestine. This is a very important area because most of the nutrients are absorbed from here, this side. Yes. Then we will see the large intestine. So in the large intestine, what happens here? Less than 10% of the absorption is occurring in the large intestine area. Yes. So in the large intestine, it is reabsorbing some of the water and ions, and it is forming the fecal material. Yes, form and stores the fecus which will come out. Then there is a one area we can see here is the rectum. Yes, which is expelling the fecus, and we can see there is a anus which is opening for the elimination of fecus. So this is whole about the anatomy of GI tract. I hope this is clear to all of you, like what are the parts of the alimentary tract and what are the parts under the accessory organs. What are the parts? So we will see the parts here for the accessory organ is first, and then we have pancreas, this is second, and liver. Yes, these are the accessory organs. Apart from it, the other we have left is the under the GI tract or alimentary canal. Yes. Now coming to what are the activities in the digestive system. So it will start from the ingestion. Yes. Then there will be propulsion, then digestion, absorption and elimination. 5 activities will be there. Yes. So ingestion means we have taken the food. So taking of food into the alimentary tract, that is eating or drinking, whatever you are eating, whatever you are drinking. So it starts from you have to administer it, yes, from the mouth. So that is the ingestion. Then whatever we have taken, it will start to mix with the enzymes or the juices, like salivary amylase is there, then pancreatic juices, bile juices are there, then intestinal juices are there. So there is a propulsion. Propulsion means mixes and moves the contents along the alimentary tract. So the food, it will go from the mouth to the pharynx, and then it will go to the esophagus area to go in the stomach. Then there is a digestion. After the propulsion, means there is a peristalsis movement, then there will be digestion. In the digestion, what is going here is the mechanical and chemical digestion of food into small molecules, like we are chewing the food. So that is a mechanical digestion. Okay, the digestion can be of two types. One is mechanical and another is chemical. So food can be, the complex substance can be converted into simpler substances by chewing or mechanical method, or there is a chemical method, means with the help of the chemicals like amylase is present. Yes, then there are some other enzymes are there in the intestinal juices, then bile is there. Yes, so they are all under the chemical digestion. So digestion can be here mechanical and chemical. Now if your complex substance is converted to simpler substance, so that simpler substances need to be absorbed in the body. Okay, the cells required the energy. So how they will make the energy? Only by the absorption of those of the nutrients. So absorption, the digested food substances pass through the walls of some organs of the alimentary canal. Then it will go to the blood, it will go to the lymph capillaries for the circulation and used by the body cells for the production of energy. Yes, after the absorption, the last step is the elimination. So the waste content will go out. That is food that cannot be digested or that cannot be absorbed, that need to be excreted as a fecus. So we have covered about the activities in the digestive system. These are the 5 parts we have covered. I hope this is clear to all of you. Then coming to the organs of digestive system. So the organs here, I already covered this. What are the organs in the previous diagram? So alimentary canal or gastrointestinal tract, it comprises of mouth. Yes, in the diagram we have already covered. Then there is a pharynx, then esophagus, and after that stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anal canal. Then accessory organs. So accessory organs here are like salivary glands, yes, and pancreas, liver and biliary duct or tract. Before this, we have to know about the accessory organs. What do you mean by this term? See, various secretions are poured in the GI tract. We already know, we have covered what are the secretions which are going in the GI tract. Now some by the glands in the lining membrane of the organs. Yes, some of the secretions are by those of the glands which are in the lining membrane of organs. Jaise means gastric juices secreted by glands in the lining of the stomach. Yes, and there are some by the glands which are situated outside the tract, but they are pouring their secretions in the GIT. So they are your accessory organs of digestion. So their secretions pass through the ducts to enter the tract or GI tract. And what are those of the organs? See, what are those of the glands? Like 3 pairs of salivary glands. What are these 3 pairs? See, parotid gland and submandibular gland and sublingual gland. These are the 3 pairs of salivary glands. They are giving their secretions in the GI tract. Yes. Then pancreas, they are providing the pancreatic juices. Then liver is providing the bile, which is stored in the gallbladder, and it is coming through the biliary tract or biliary duct. So these are under the accessory organs which is helping in the digestion. Yes. So they are the part of the digestion. They are outside the GI tract, but they are pouring their secretions in the tract to help the digestion. Now coming to the basic structure of alimentary canal. So we will see the alimentary canal, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, thorax, pharynx, all of these areas. If we'll see these areas, we'll come to know about the basic structure, basic wall structure of the alimentary tract. So, this is made up of 4 layers of tissue. Yes, what are these 4 layers? See, the first layer is adventitia or serosa. There are 2 names, adventitia or serosa. This is also known as peritoneum layer. Okay, we will come to know about the peritoneum in the later slides. So, there is a one outermost layer. I will see the outermost layer in this diagram. Last is a serosa, outermost covering, or adventitia or peritoneum. Then I will see the second layer here. This is a muscle layer. So, see, this is the muscle layer, and now this muscle layer, which is known here as the muscularis, this is of 2 types. One is inner circular and one is outer longitudinal. So, if I am talking about the muscular layer, this is the muscular layer. Yes. So, there are outer longitudinal cells are there. These are the longitudinal cells. Yes, longitudinal layer, and if we see the inner area, there are some circular cells are there. Yes, like this. So, this is about the muscle layer, how the muscle layer is. It is of 2 types. One is the outer longitudinal and inner one is the circular. Yes, we will see inner to it there is a submucosa layer. So, there is a submucosa layer. This layer is your submucosa. Then I will see the innermost layer, that is your mucosa. This is your mucosa layer, and inner to it, that is a lumen, means the space. Yes. So, from the innermost, if I will talk from the innermost to the outermost, it starts from the mucosa, then submucosa, then muscularis, and outermost is the serosa or adventitia or the peritoneum. Yes. So, this is the basic structure. You will see the stomach, or you will see the small intestine, large intestine. For all of these areas, this is the common wall structure you will see. Now, adventitia or serosa, this is the outermost layer. Yes, and we will see the thorax. In the thorax region, it consists of loose fibrous tissue, but we will see the abdomen area, it consists of serous membrane. Yes, which is called as peritoneum. So, I told you in the previous slide, the outermost layer in the abdominal cavity is known as peritoneum layer, and this serous membrane consisting of a serous fluid. Yes, actually what happens, the peritoneum layer, the outermost layer, is also divided into 2 parts in the abdominal cavity. One is the visceral layer, another is the parietal layer, and in between of 2 there is a serous fluid. And why the configuration is in this manner? Just because to protect the organs or the abdominal cavity, yes, from the mechanical injury. Now, we will see the peritoneum. So, here we can see we are talking about the peritoneum layer, which is the outermost layer in the abdominal cavity. It is the largest serous membrane of the body. Yes, this point need to be highlighted. Then it is of closed sac containing of small amount of serous fluid. So, serous fluid is present in between of these 2 layers, the part of the peritoneum, visceral or parietal. It is richly supplied with blood, lymph vessels, lymph nodes are there, they are providing the defense mechanism. They are providing physical barrier to the local spread of infection. They are preventing the involvement of other abdominal structures. Yes. So, this is why the peritoneum is in that particular configuration. Now, peritoneum has 2 layers, I already discussed. Here we are seeing through the diagram, peritoneum, parietal peritoneum. Yes, this is the outer covering. So, here we in this diagram, this is the abdominal cavity, we can see outermost layer is the parietal peritoneum, this outer layer. Yes, the abdominal cavity, which is covering the abdominal cavity. So, this is the parietal peritoneum, which lining the abdominal wall, and the another layer, which is the innermost layer, that is the visceral parietal. It is covering the organs. So, here we can see in the inner part, visceral peritoneum is covering the organs. Yes, it is covering the organs. that is a viscera, viscera means the organs, within the abdominal and pelvic cavities, and in between of it there is a serous fluids. Serous fluid. Yes, I hope this is clear to all of you about the peritoneum layer. Now coming to the muscle layer. So muscle layer consisting of two layers of smooth muscle, which outermost is the longitudinal cells, which is made up of longitudinal cells, and inner is the circular cells. Yes. Then in between of two smooth muscles, or in between of the muscle layer, here you are seeing this is the muscle layer, one is the outermost, another is the innermost. In between of it there is a plexus, there is a network of cell bodies, and this network is known as a Orbeck plexus. Yes, here we can see in this diagram, these are the nerve bodies. Yes, so see what is written, between these two muscle layers are blood vessels, lymph vessels, and plexus of sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves, which is called as a myenteric plexus or known as a Orbeck plexus. This is a very important point. Now coming to the another work of the muscle layer. So muscle layer is responsible for the contraction and relaxation. It is responsible for the peristalsis movement. Yes. So the contraction and the relaxation of the muscle pushes the content of the tract. What are the content? Food or anything which is coming in the tract onwards, which is called as a peristalsis. Yes, which is helping the food to mix it with the digestive juices. Without of it, the food cannot pass further. Yes. So the onward movement of the contents of the tract is controlled by some of the gateways, and that gateways are known here as a sphincters, means the openings, that are the thickened rings of circular muscles. So there is also one function here we have discussed about the muscle layer. They are responsible for contraction and relaxation. They are responsible for peristalsis. Yes. Now coming to the another layer, which is the submucosa. After the muscle layer, we will see on the inner area. So last here is a serosa, then there is a muscle layer, then another innermost layer is the submucosa, and last innermost means which is the innermost layer, that is here your mucosa, and there is a lumen. So this is the configuration from the outermost to the innermost. So submucosa is here. Loose connective tissue, it is made up of loose connective tissue. There are the collagens, there are some elastic fibers, there are presence of the plexus, the networks of the blood vessels and nerves, lymph vessels. There lymphoid tissues are present, which are helping in the defense mechanism. The plexus which are present, means the networks which are present in the submucosa, is known as a Meissner's plexus. Yes. In the muscle layer we have one term, that is a myenteric plexus or Orbeck plexus. Similarly for the submucosa we have one network of sympathetic or parasympathetic system, which is known as a Meissner plexus. Yes. Now coming to the mucosa. So the innermost layer. Yes, mucosa is the innermost layer, very important layer. Now mucosa is also made up of 3 layers of tissue. Yes. What are these 3 layers? One is columnar epithelium, then lamina propria, this is a middle layer, and third here is the mucosa, muscularis mucosa. Yes. So there are 3 layers. One is the columnar epithelium, which is the innermost layer, and this is providing the protection, secretion and absorption. Then middle layer is a lamina propria, which is consisting of a loose connective tissue, and outermost is the muscularis mucosa. So if I will talk about the individual mucosa layer, there are 3 layers. See, this is only the mucosa layer. I am talking about the innermost layer. So your outermost layer is the muscularis mucosa. Then it will see the middle one, that is of columnar epithelium, that is of lamina propria. Yes, and the innermost is the columnar epithelium. Yes, so this is the configuration here. I hope this is clear to all of you, and this diagram, with this diagram you are also get to know about, this is the innermost layer, and then there is a middle layer, and this is the outermost simple columnar epithelial cell. Now you see mucous membrane, there are some differences on the basis of the function, like mucous membrane, the innermost membrane in the parts of the tract which is subjected for the mechanical injury. For those of the areas, the layer consisted of stated squamous epithelium, okay, whereas the area where the absorption need to occur, the areas of the tract where absorption is very fast, or the absorption is one of the function, for those of the areas the inner layer is the columnar epithelium cells, which we have already discussed. Yes. Then what are the secretions into the lumen, which is coming in the lumen, which is coming in the tract. So see what are the secretion from salivary glands, then gastric juices which are obtained from the gastric glands like HCl, then there are some other contents also which are provided from the gastric glands, then intestinal juices from the intestinal glands, then pancreatic juices from the pancreas, bile from the liver. These all of the juices are responsible for the digestion, and they are coming in the tract. Yes. Now see the nerve supply. So when digestion is required, this is normally through increased activity of parasympathetic nervous system. In our body there are two types of system are working. Yes, two types of nervous system are working. One is the parasympathetic system and another is sympathetic system, and most of the time they are working as vice versa. Yes. So here if we will improve the we can it will stimulate the parasympathetic activity, the digestion will improve. Yes. So whenever digestion is required, that activity will be, the parasympathetic nervous activity will be increased. Similarly, the opposite is also true for the sympathetic nervous system. Now the parasympathetic supply, it is stimulated by the supply of one pair of cranial nerves, vagus nerves and sacral nerves. This need to be remembered. What are the nerves involved here? One is the cranial nerves, vagus, second is the vagus nerve, third is the sacral nerves. Now see the sympathetic stimulation. So what is going here? From the sympathetic stimulation, if it is stimulated, of course the activity will be decreased, all of the glandular secretion will decrease, muscular activity will be decreased, peristalsis movement will be decreased. Yes, and what are the supplies here? See the networks or plexus, the ganglia formation, the nerve bodies, okay, the group of the nerve bodies in the thorax region, in the abdomen region, in the pelvic area. These the sympathetic supply is from all of these areas, thorax, abdomen, pelvis, from which nerve passes to the organs of tract, alimentary tract. Yes, so this need to be controlled. If these nerves are stimulated, then the secretions will be decreased, the digestion will be decreased. Now see, there are some key facts of this stomach. So you need to know about this stomach, which is a very important part from where the digestion we can say starts. Yes. So this is the G-shaped dilated portion of the alimentary tract. This is a G-shape, we can say, J-shaped dilated portion, which is situated in the epigastric region. Yes. So and umbilical region and left hypochondriac region of the abdominal cavity. So we will see the configuration of the body, the quadrant of the body. So there is a one area which is the epigastric region, the upper region, it will divide the abdominal cavity. So the upper area is the epigastric region. Yes, in the epigastric region, in the middle area is the umbilical region. So in this area and left hypochondriac region of it. So in that particular area, your this stomach is located, yes, or situated. Now what are the walls? So it is as same as of GIT. The walls are similarly, I told you, mucosa, submucosa. This is the innermost layer. Then after that we are going to the outermost. Submucosa is there. Then muscle layer is there. Yes. And then after that we have the outermost layer, serosa. Yes. So, this is how the walls of stomach. Then blood supply we will see. So, gastric arteries are there and portal veins, they are supplying to the stomach area. Now, what do we mean by gastric juices? They are provided by the stomach, they are produced by the stomach. Nearly 2 liters of gastric juice is secreted daily, which is containing the water, which is containing the mineral salts, and these water and mineral salts are secreted by gastric glands. Okay. Apart from it, in the gastric juices we have mucus also, and this mucus is secreted by the goblet cells, and this mucus is providing the protection to the stomach from the harmful effects of the acid, protecting the walls of the stomach. Then there is a HCl which is required for the digestion of the food content, for killing the microbes. So, HCl and intrinsic factor which is required for the absorption of vitamin B12, yes. So, HCl and intrinsic factors, they are secreted by the parietal cells. You need to know about which cells are producing what, yes. So, similarly here I told you for the HCl and intrinsic factor, there is a parietal cells are present in the stomach area. Similarly, there are some inactive enzymes, precursors like pepsinogens, they are also present in this stomach. So, these like here we are saying inactive enzyme which is pepsinogen. So, itself as pepsinogen is a inactive, but it need to be activated by the HCl which is present in the stomach to form the pepsin, and then this pepsin is helpful for the metabolism of proteins. Now, we will see the functions. So, from whole of the points on this stomach I told you, I think you get to know about what are the functions. So, the stomach is for the temporary storage. Okay. Why we are not saying it permanent? Of course, we know it need to go further, means the food need to go further in the small intestine or then it to the large intestine, then it need to be come out from the body. So, it is for the temporary storage. First function. Then second is the chemical digestion is going in the stomach with the help of pepsin, yes. Then it is also churning the food, yes, metabolizing the food, mixing the food. Then non-specific defense is provided by the gastric juice, specifically HCl, yes, it is killing the microbes. Then preparation of iron for the absorption, it is solubilizing the iron salts, yes. Then production and secretion of intrinsic factor which is responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12 from the small intestine. Then regulation and passage of gastric contents in the duodenum area, means the starting area of the small intestine. Then there is secretion of hormone gastrin. The hormone gastrin is secreted by the endocrine cells present in the stomach lining, and this gastrin is responsible for the activation of hydrochloric acid, yes. So, these are some of the function of the stomach. I hope this is clear to all of you. In the next lecture, we will discuss the further points in the digestive system. Thank you so much, everyone.